All right, so in this video today for Active Matter, I'm going to be giving you a rundown of your hideout and helping you understand the hideout and all the different menus and stuff. So let's just get started. So this is your hideout in Active Matter. All right, pretty good job that they've done. I will agree there. There's the portal where you go into the missions at. So starting off, everything in the hideout can be accessed from the top menu you see at the top left where it shows missions, shop, inventory, monolith, replicator, refiner, profile, audio. You just simply hit your tab key and you can click through each one to see all the different sections of the hideout. So starting with missions, this is the way it's going to look. It's going to have every map here on the left hand side that you can currently go into. Right above the map names, it'll show the update, the raids update in 8 minutes and 42 seconds. So on that scenario, when that timer runs down, these maps will change out. So if you start, the very first map you would usually play would be the Shigolsko, I think is how you say it. And then it's going to have a colon and another name next to it. So that's going to be different variations of the map. So in this scenario, this map here is Overgrowth. So typically the Overgrowth, as you can see from the photos, it's going to show have more flowermen in it. And then like Factory is Hive, so it's going to have more of the swarming hive, like bees that are like flying around, big giant bugs with glowing tails on them. And they basically just attack you, but that's a whole different thing there. This one here is a normal map, so it's just going to be normal setting. And then darkness is here. It just means it's basically nighttime. And then silent observer, I haven't really paid too much attention, but from the photos, it looks like it's more statues than anything. So on every map, I'm gonna go back to the very top one here. It's gonna show you how many keys are available for the map. And I believe that's how many keys you actually own for the map. So like Hangar 148 key I do have. And then this one here, I have the number 11 attic key. So those are the keys you have in your stash that you can use for the map. Right below the actual map picture itself is going to show the different types of items you can find in raid. And then 285 more. It's typically going to show you like the weapons here, and then everything else is like the additional loot. So if I was to go to cargo port, right, you're going to see here, there's a VSS, a TKB, SKSs, RPKs, that stuff's there. Same thing with the military base. There's a PKM here. There's also the K63 helmet. So those are items that you can look for once you figure out where they spawn to go and look. Then you have the next tab here where it shows raids. There's Nexus battles. Those are just like strictly PvP battles. I don't know too much on those yet. I do know you can get some, rewards and stuff from doing them. Like here, you can get some Monolith tokens. You can get a M12 shotgun and some two boxes at 48 apiece of the 12 gauge shotgun ammo. Back to the raid side, just below where it shows your available keys, it's going to show you the anomalies here. So these are going to be the different AI enemies. So in this instance, Overgrowth, the very first one it shows is Flowermen. And you have Dendroids, which are like tree people basically. You have Invisible, Ball Lightning, and then the Gravity anomalies. Those are the walls and stuff you can walk up. If I was to check out Factory Hive, you can see we have Distorted, you have Turned Soldiers, Flowermen, the Swarms, Ball Lightning, and Gravity anomalies as well. Now, on the far right side, you're going to see all of your different objectives. Up here at the very top, you have primary objectives. These are ones that if they're open and you have them selected, you cannot leave the raid until you complete these objectives. So like here, collect and extract items, open that up. It tells you I must collect an item that'll be specified in the raid. You have to successfully extract in order to complete it. It tells you what the reward is, which is the credits. Now the thing is with this one, it's auto selected for every map, but you don't know the type of item you have to get until the raid starts. And you can see my next one says study of Flowermen. If I open that up, I have to find and eliminate Flowermen in the raid using shotguns. Got to get 3 of those, and then I would get 100 monolith tokens and 1,000 credits. And again, if I was to accept that, I won't be able to leave the raid until that's completed. Then you have what's called secondary objectives. Secondary objectives are going to be down below. And these are objectives you can do for the additional Monolith tokens, credits, and sometimes some gear on the raid, and they're optional. You don't have to do them when you're in raid. You can if you would choose to. And while we're on the missions terminal, I just want to point out a couple of things here. When you're looking at the map, you're going to notice that like my maps right now are completely uncovered. Your maps when you first start out would look something more like this. It's not covered at all. So as you're in the raid moving through the map, it'll uncover this map, so then in the future you can see the areas you've been to. Then you're also going to notice the white outlines on every single map. That is a landing zone. So that whole section is going to be like areas where players can spawn. So you know that if you spawn down here on this map, then you're going to have players spawning to you from the left all the way around, and then of course straight across as well through all the main houses. So that's a good indicator of kind of learning where the spawns are once you uncover the map and knowing where to look whenever you do spawn into the raid. So that's going to pretty much cover everything with the map section. Now you have your shop. Starting with the favorites tab, you can favorite items that you do like to buy a lot. So if I'm here in the special section, there's a little star next to them. Click add to list. Now it shows up here. So it's always there. Now the special section, the currency for that is activated active matter. The only way I've seen to get that so far is by completing tasks that pop up for each map. You use the activated active matter to purchase these items like your safe containers, the beacons. You can also, for 100, you can swap it into 10,000 credits. And then you also have isolated raid passes. So isolated raid passes are basically PvE only raids. So if I was to, let's swap back to the raid section here, the mission area. If I wanted to go here, I would hit right down here underneath the loot area, isolated raid. I have 35 passes. You would just check that over. So now that would become a PvE only raid. So there'll be no other players in that raid while you're, trying to do your objectives. Going back to the shop, then you have your weapons tab. It's all here as well. Weapon mods, ammunition, your medications you need, any equipment you might need, from helmet, pouches, backpacks, flashlights, armor plates, I should say. And then you have your cart. So if you simply add this stuff to the cart, you can do so. You can also click down here to add to cart, and it would show up here, and then you could finish your purchase for a bunch of items at once. You can also, in the case of this flashlight, hit buy to storage, and that flashlight is in my storage. Now your inventory, pretty simple layout for the most part. You have your hot keys down here, 6 through 0, and these unlock as you have better pouches and stuff equipped. Then you have your 2 suit pockets, which is 6 and 7. So to put stuff in here on any slot here, you can do it 2 different ways. You can just left click and it throws that into your melee slot in this case, right? You can clear the slot out by dragging it over, click and drag. You can also click on the slot and it pops up everything you have that fits in that slot. So like here, I have a wrench I can use for a melee weapon. Let's pull that back off. Same thing with your sidearms. You can click, select your weapon, your main weapons for primary and backup, any helmets you have. Now, if you don't have something, so let's just say flashlight again, you can select, I do have the one, or I could go here to go quick buy, and then I can buy it straight from the shop just like that. Now, your armor is not like what we're used to with games like Tarkov, where you put on a certain armored rig. It's all plates. So for the torso, I would just select, that's a ceramic plate. Here's a steel plate. And then my particular character has 4 small armor plates I can use, but I'll get into that soon enough. On the character screen at the very bottom, you have Chrono Genes down here. So if I was to click on him, you have all of these that I could swap out that I've unlocked. And it does tell you in the description, so like fine motor skill, I have level 3, so my fine motor skill is plus 30%. So what does that do? That's a very confusing part. You would have to read some of the descriptions to figure out different things. So endurance, for instance, shows fatigue threshold, stamina drain, and pulse escalation. You would have to look for those descriptions on the right side of the screen. So fine motor skill is going to be by healing speed and magazine loading rate modifier. So basically, I'm loading mags faster and I heal myself faster, or use the healing item faster. The endurance shows the fatigue, stamina drain, pulse escalation. So you'd have to find that over here. There is pulse relaxation. pulse escalations at the very bottom. It's a heart rate growth modifier. Now you do also have the option when it comes to your inventory, if you were running low on stash or if you just had pistols only, kind of like I mostly do. If you didn't want to run the gear or buy or spend the money, when you go to deploy into the raid, you hit missions, you hit loadout check. Then up here in the top right corner, you have the ability to rent gear. So by clicking on that, it gives you a random gear set. It's kind of like a scav run in Tarkov. You can also buy preset gear as well. So this is the default stuff it has for you. I haven't made like any custom ones, but you can load that preset and purchase all that gear as well, just for a quick rekit. And then you could change the preset over here and edit out the preset name and all that stuff as well. So keep that in mind also. And then the rent a gear, a very nice feature. So again, if you just click on that, you can see here, this run's going to give me a sidearm with 2 magazines. And then I'm going to have a Mosin sniper rifle. I also have no meds, but I have a helmet. So it's always random. Sometimes you get meds, sometimes you don't. So just keep that in mind whenever you go to use rent a gear. So then you have the Monolith. The Monolith is where you unlock things for your Replicator and different character models you can use or characters you can run, as well as extra storage for your stash and all that stuff. When you make it through all of these levels, you can then reset your entire account. You become a future maker. So this here shows the list of everyone that's made it all the way through and have basically reset, right? So they've chosen the harmonization of the multiverse. And then when this fills up, I don't know what happens, but rumor has it everyone resets. Who knows? It's looking for 30,000 for that. So again, we're looking here. So you can see I have the alpha area done, beta and gamma is all done. And then you're going to use monolith tokens, which is like the yellow token up here in the top right, to unlock these items here all the way down. Then you have fuse recipes as well for the refiner, your shelter upgrades, which is your storage, then your shop unlocks for buying things in the shop, as well as earning XP in the replicator. So like the AK-103, you can't buy it from the shop until you get to the gamma area and unlock this blueprint, right? So you go here just to show you. Let me look at some weapons. The SPAS-12 for me is locked, so no matter how bad I want to buy that, I can't buy that until I unlock it at monolith level Delta. And then here's the Delta. I have that section unlocked now, or not unlocked yet, but when I do unlock it, it'll be in here for me to purchase. Now since I'm here, I haven't unlocked this, kind of been waiting just so I could do this video. If I wanted to unlock this level, I can spend 1,300 monolith tokens, or I can spend 260 of my activated, the crystallized active matter. Sorry. So you have 2 options there for activating that and unlocking that monolith level. Now, as far as the characters go, let's talk about the body sleeves. So when you select the body sleeves, you have different options. You're going to have the character you chose at the very beginning, which for me was this person here, Outlaw. All of these sleeves have different traits on the far right side. So Outlaw, for instance, has 1 big armor plate, 2 small armor plates, but he has a negative 5% to movement noise and a plus 5% to movement speed. Now the sleeve I'm currently using is Shadow. I have 1 big armor plate and 4 small armor plates. I have 1 for each leg and 1 for each arm or hand. I have negative 10% to movement noise and negative 10% to visibility. And it gives you like a little bit of a background. If you look at some of these others, like this one here, this Reaper, he's purchased, or you get him by purchasing the premium edition of Active Matter, 10% to your stance change, your melee strength, and shock time reductions. And then there are some that are classified right now. I don't know how to get. I don't know if anyone else does, but I do not know at this time. This one here shows Monolith access terminal at the self-sacrifice rewards. So I'm going to guess this is the other starter ones. Yes. So Liquidator, Pulse, and Enforcer, I do believe, are the other starter characters. Then you have to go down here through, like the Rebel was a pre-order bonus. And then some of these are locked behind the Monolith levels. So Phantom is level Kappa. So going back to that, you would go down the Kappa. You see Phantom right here. Delta would have Mirage. So if we look at Mirage, he's right here. He only has 2 small armor plates for body armor It has melee damage protection 10%. So you would basically select whatever sleeve that you have unlocked to fit your playstyle. So that takes care of the monolith, the inventory, the shop, and your missions. Now, the replicator is going to be right here. Let's just open that up from the menu just so I can show you all what the screen looks like. So the way the replicator works, it allows you to craft gear to bring into raid. Now, by crafting this gear, you cannot craft an item and then go refine it and make a money loophole, right? So I've already done like first aid kit. So if I wanted to claim that, I would claim it. It goes into my stash. If I wanted to make another one, I would click it and go ahead and hit start. All of these have a time limit. For the AI2 first aid kits, it's 5 minutes. You can see that right here. So in 5 minutes time, that item will be done and it goes into my stash. Now, other items, you have different ways of unlocking these things. We're going to look at the PP91 Keter. When I select it, you'll see here I have 100 out of 2,000. So you need 2,000 chrono traces in order to unlock that item. The chrono traces are at the top right. That's how many you have. I've only got 211. But if you hover back over here around this question mark, it tells you what you need in order to get that item to level it up on its own. Basically, chrono traces specifically for that item so you can unlock it. So in this case, for every anomaly that I hit, so any of the flower men, the dendroids, the distorted, the swarm, any of those that I hit with this weapon, I get 1 point. Any monsters that I kill, so flower men, distorted, etc., I get 25 points. Any operatives that I hit, which are other players, 1 point. If I extract with this item, if I find it in raid and it's enriched, which is your found in raid tag, by the way, if I get that out, 100 points. Any monsters that I hit, 1 point. Any militants that we kill, which would be like your turned soldiers and stuff, 35. So sorry, the anomalies there are certain anomalies you can run into, like little red balls that are like bouncing betties. Basically, they float up and they chase you down. They explode if you shoot those. That's 1 point. A monster hits, which is your distorted and stuff, is 1 point. So that explains basically how to unlock these. And then the monolith, we saw some of that stuff. That's where you would unlock these items to be able to start gaining the chrono traces for it. Now, when something's completed, like this AKM right here, you'll have a little blue exclamation mark. It shows 750 out of 750. Unlock blueprint. Just click that. Now I can replicate an AKM, so I don't have to buy it from the shop and spend money on it. So that sums that up. And then on the right side, your refiner, which here is the refining screen. So in order to refine an item, it's very simple. If I wanted to refine this NR40 melee weapon, I just drag it over. I hit start refining, but it tells you here how much actual income you're going to make. So how many of the credits, this is going to be 90 to 150, but I'm also going to get 10 chrono traces. You start refining, complete, I receive those rewards. There are certain recipes you can get. They're called fuse recipes. So in this scenario, if you wanted to make an AKM, I have that unlocked here. I would then need a Yellow Pins album and then a CD Sharp Thin Blade. So you would take those two items, refine it, and you would wind up with, either the AKM or the attachments for it here, right? Same thing with medication. As long as I have the Sputnik white toy car and a fuse, it unlocks different recipes for the medication. And then you have chrono genes that you get from the monsters that you fight. So in this scenario, like the Hellhounds here, just normal uncommon Hellhound remains. You can see I've unlocked Jump 1, Jump 2, Endurance 1, 2, and Serenity 1. I still have 4 others to go. Then you also have rare chrono genes, which are like pristine chrono genes for the same monsters that give you a higher rated chrono gene you can unlock. So for me, see if I have any here that are rare. Yeah, so distorted. Here I have a jump level 1. Then I have jump 2 and 3 unlocked from the distorted. So if I wanted to do jump 3, again, I'm going to go to my character sleeve or the inventory, click down here, the character. Then I can change this out to jump 3, which I already have, which gives me the jump speed 30%, fall damage resistance 7%. Replicator, my item's done. I'll just claim that. We'll start the AKM now. That's another 5-minute craft. So that basically explains the refiner. So anything junk wise that you don't want to keep, refine it, get your money out of it, get your chrono chases out of it, so on and so forth. All right, so while we're on the subject of the refiner and the chrono genes that you can get from the monster parts that you can bring in, I have noticed that you get multiples of these. So if I was to go over to my actual character screen with the chrono genes, if I look into the chrono genes themselves, you'll see, like, for instance, I have endurance 1 11. So I have no clue what to do with the extras. If there's anyone that can answer that question and just comment that down below in the comments in this video, I would greatly appreciate that. I might even pin that comment as well so others can figure out what to do with the chrono genes. Any empty med kits that you have, you can do the same thing with those. Drag them over. That'll give me 300 on my income. Now the big thing with that is, if I view that in the shop, it costs 2,400 to buy one of these, which has got 10 uses in it. Or you can just buy 10 of the healing item here. I can't say that word. So, and then you'd only spend 2,000. You still have the med kit, the first aid kit. You can then take the 10 and put them inside here. So just a quick example, I'll buy 4 of them. I will have my med kit here empty. I will take these, put them in there. Now I have 5 out of 10. So I have 5 med uses in my next raid. So your profile is just going to have your personal archive. This is different awards you get from, I'm assuming these are like the chrono genes or leveling up to unlock different chrono genes you can apply to your character. So I don't know 100% what this is. That's just my assumption. Here's your career stats. So look, I've got 340 kills. That counts AI and operatives. I've killed 9 players. I've died 19 times. So as you can see, I'm extremely good at this game because I've died 19 times and I've ran 27 raids. So yeah, it's incredible survival ratio. Notes basically tell you things that you discovered, whether that is lore items or if it's about the creatures. So about the creature section here, if you have trouble, say, fighting flowermen, you can read about them a little bit. It says that they're usually found in groups. They usually stand perfectly still and resemble a bush, but if disturbed, they will attack instantly. And it will happen if you touch the tall plants in the nest area, which, if you look on this image, there's tall plants right here. If you touch those, it wakes them up. So flowermen attack in close combat and are constantly moving. They will protect their nest and rarely will stray far from them. And then active matter can be found from killing them or around their nest as well. And then if a player dies to one near the nest, then your body will become, quote unquote, a new flowerman's, like the lore behind it, right? But if you're playing with a buddy and he gets killed by a flowerman, you'll see like a bunch of flowers like form around his corpse. You can still bring him back, but yeah. Then you have your key contracts. That explains what they are and what it unlocks, different items that's unlocked for you to progress further and further. And then your entire raid archive basically shows all of your raids that you ran, and it shows you some of the different spoils you got from that raid. So you can see just a little bit of a history of like what's happened there, so on and so forth. And then audio is where you can change the music you hear in your hideout. Now, as far as the hideout goes, if you'd prefer to access everything the different way, this here on the left side, this is your replicator. And then right here is going to be your shop or market console. And then right here is going to be an intercom. That basically is how you invite people to your party. But you can also hit tab in the top right, go to your contacts and invite that way. In through here is going to be your storage. Opening that up brings it to your inventory screen. And then in here through the left is going to be your firing range. So if I did, say, have a pistol on me, I can just walk right through here. And then you can practice target shooting on paper or AI. And then anything you do in here does not get taken from you. So if you come in here and you spend an hour just, shooting rounds, you're not going to lose that ammunition. And then down through here, like this is a blocked off door. Not really sure if that's going to be stuff they add or not. I assume it's probably going to be. We're going to kick back around here to this console. This is your missions console, which is this screen here. And then here is your Monolith console, which is there. Then here's your music player. You can change the music. And then here is the alters control. This is where you can go into this screen here and select your body sleeve and change it up. And then this room here is a display of all the different body sleeves you can unlock. So if you walk through here, you can see them all in a stasis, right? All the way down. Every single one that's in the game is here, except for these last 3 slots. Is going to be 3 more that they plan on adding that are currently not showing yet. Yeah, you can see them all in here. And if you have them unlocked, you can walk up to them and swap to them as well. So like here, select body sleeve, I can go back to him. I don't have this one here unlocked, but if I hit it on there, it's going to show it's locked. And then right here is your refiner. And then over here is going to be this poor lady here who has ran for Miss Universe multiple years in a row and has always got second place, second place, second place, second place. You have a little couch you can't really do much with yet, but it's there. So yeah, that is going to be the video, just kind of generally showing you the hideout. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to drop it down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to address those. If I can't help you, maybe someone else in the comments will be able to help as well. So that gives you a little bit of understanding. I wanted to do this video mainly because this whole area was rather confusing for me when I first started playing this game, as well as my squad mates. So hopefully this helps you all out. And again, if you've enjoyed this content, please subscribe to the channel. We're getting closer and closer every day to being able to further the career with content creation on YouTube. So I appreciate your all support. Appreciate anyone that hangs out in the Twitch streams or on TikTok when I'm live there. And until the next time, I will see you all in the multiverse.